Namaste and welcome to our Sunday edition of Gyan Ganga Words of Wisdom on our Virat Hindustan Sangam social media channels. As you all know that we are on various platforms at the same time, some on podcasts, some on video, some on spaces. And we thank our viewers across the globe for their support week after week. Today is a very important week as far as India is concerned and the freedom to express our views are concerned. This week is the 50th anniversary of the emergency which was declared in 1975 and which continued till the first few months of 1977, and rest is all history. We will be discussing how we all should strive not to have an emergency like situation in India and how freedom is most important. And today, what better person than Dr. Subramaniam Swamy, with whom we will be having this discussion, who fought the emergency tooth and nail. Some crawled, some surrendered, some wrote apology letters, but Dr. Swamy went underground and organized the underground movement, and abroad the media against Indira Gandhi's so-called emergency that led to crippling of our freedom. So we will be discussing the next 45 minutes with Dr. Subramaniam Swamy on the emergency and how we shall never have it again in this country, and whether anything is similarly happening in India. So with these words, before we start our program, we will pay tributes to another historical figure which many people in other parts of India do not know, and that is Baba Hanuman Singh of Punjab. We'll have the video on him.
In the quiet village of Naurang Singhwala, Punjab, a child was born in 1755, Hanuman Singh. His parents, Garja Singh and Harnam Kaur, raised him with Sikh values and warrior discipline. From a young age, Hanuman Singh trained in Gatka, archery, and horse riding among the Nihang Singhs. With deep faith and unmatched courage, he became a rising figure in the Buddha Dal. In 1823, after the martyrdom of Akali Phula Singh, Hanuman Singh became the 7th Jatedar of the Akal Takht. When the mighty Sikh Empire began to crumble, he stood like a rock against the British tide. In 1845, during the First Anglo-Sikh War, he joined the army at Sabrao, battling alongside Shyam Singh Attariwala. Despite betrayal from within, he fought valiantly and led a retreat with 500 Nihang warriors. He sought shelter in Patiala, but the rulers turned against him under British pressure. Surrounded near Sohna, the 90-year-old Baba refused to surrender. With only swords, bows, and courage, his forces battled till their last breath. Hanuman Singh was martyred by cannon fire, becoming the last major Nihang resistance leader. Today, the Gurudwara Singh Shahidan, Sohna, marks the sacred site of his martyrdom. A Kabaddi academy and park near Mohali honor his legacy. Baba Hanuman Singh's story is not just of war, it is of unshaken faith and undying defiance.
We pay our tributes to Baba Hanuman Singh, the great son of Punjab. With this, it is over to Dr. Subramaniam Swamy, the hero of the emergency of 1975-77, to initiate today's discussion and tell us a little bit of the emergency and also what can happen or not happen in the future after the various amendments when Janata Party came to power in 1977. Over to Dr. Swamy.
Thank you, Jagdish. For me, it's a great memory of the past, which I've witnessed every year when June 25 comes, when I go back to 1975. On the date of June 25th, I had addressed a public meeting with JP, Jayaprakash Narayan, Moraji Desai, Nanaji Deshmukh, and myself in the Ramlila ground. The gigantic meeting, enough to scare Mrs. Gandhi to high heaven, as they say. And the reason was that Jayaprakash Narayan felt that Mrs. Gandhi's rule was very corrupt. So he led a movement which started from zero. I remember when I first was invited by Jayaprakash Narayan, he had hardly any following. But then he kept at it, and soon the students' population all over India started following him, and it became a great movement. And then, of course, except for Atal Bihari Vajpayee, who decided to stay aloof, all other leaders in the emergency, fighting the emergency as it is later recalled, had begun joining JP. Moraji Desai came, as I told you. Nanaji Deshmukh came. The Socialist Party people came. Just across the Sikhs came. So it was a great movement, and on 25th June 1975. A gigantic meeting in the Ramlila grounds, which is no more available for public meetings. But at that time, it was a huge meeting in a huge area. And I was on the front row. If the pictures are still show that I sat between Moraji Desai and Jayaprakash Narayan, because both Jayaprakash Narayan and Moraji Desai didn't get along very well with each other. Jayaprakash was very easygoing, and Moraji was very strict. And one of the incidents we had in this public meeting was that the Jansangh people, they had taken the responsibility to arrange the public meeting, but they announced in the posters 5 p.m. and imagine in June, 5 p.m. who will come. But that is the way Jansangh used to conduct its meetings. First, in the poster, they'll put 5. But by the time people slowly start coming, the meetings will start around 7 o'clock or so. But on that particular occasion, Moraji was very angry. He said, no, this is not correct. If you say 5 p.m., it will be 5 p.m. I will turn up at 5 p.m. and if there's nobody there, I will go home. Now, that would be a disaster for us. And so JP and JP and Moraji Desai were not people who had very long. They had a long history of not being on the same plane, and so this question came: if either of them or neither of them came to the meeting, there will be a flop, and that's exactly what Mrs. Gandhi would have wanted. And so finally, Nanaji phoned me up, and he said, in the morning of the meeting, he said, only you can talk to these two people, and there will be, try and bring them together. And finally, by arguments with both of them, I said, okay, the meeting will start not at 5, nor will it be starting at 7 o'clock, which the Jansangh people had fixed. So it will be 6 p.m. And so 6 p.m. the meeting started, and I had to sit between Moraji Desai and Jayaprakash to see that there's no quarrel on the stage. And of course, Nanaji was who was always my big supporter. He was on the other side, and the meeting took place. Oh, huge crowd, and scared the hell out of Mrs. Gandhi. So that night, Mrs. Gandhi declared the emergency, and she had another reason because her election had been found fraudulent, and she was declared as a person who had not become an MP by winning an election. And so, although because she was a prime minister, she could get 6 months time to again get a new position as a member of parliament. So she wasn't removed from the parliament house. She continued as prime minister, and but she felt that now there was no chance of winning an election, so she declared an emergency. So next day morning, there I am. I'm sitting in this corner. Jayaprakash Narayan, Morarji Desai, Nanaji Deshmukh, and that Raj Narayan, yes, a big fat guy. So this is the Ram Lila ground picture, and anyway, JP told me after the meeting, come and have a talk with me, and I went, and then he asked me what's going on. I said I've got information that Miss Indira Gandhi wants to now declare military rule, and we are all going to be put in jail. So he said, JP said, no, you're a young man, you're just taking it. I've seen all this. She won't dare to do anything. She's now, only question of her is resigning and going and so on. And so I said, okay, I went home, and at 4 a.m. I get a phone call from a policeman saying, साहब आप घर में हैं तो हम आएंगे आपको मिलने के लिए, नहीं है तो फिर बाद में देखा जाएगा. So I thought this is a very strange way for a policeman of that area. I was in Greater Kailash those days in Delhi to speak, so I knew something was fishy. So I told my wife immediately, I'll disappear till the morning when the sun comes up. Then we'll find out what the hell is going on. But then by morning we saw from television that Mrs. Gandhi had declared an emergency. And then the question became a series of people. Jayaprakash Narayan was arrested. So many people got arrested. But I had escaped from my house and gone to a friend's house. And somehow Nanaji Deshmukh identified where I was. So he sent a Swamsevak, and in a motorcycle I was taken to meet Nanaji. And then Nanaji said, see, you know how to drive a car. I don't know how to drive a car, so you have to stay with me and take me around the whole of Delhi to see who's not been arrested, who's been arrested. So that's how the process began. But it was a horrible thing because my own house, Mrs. Gandhi removed all my furniture and refrigerator, motor car, everything. And I had two small girls. Now they are big girls in the sense they are in high positions. Swamy is now editor in the Hindu newspaper, and Gitanjali is in America. She's now there in a very prominent position. So, but that time there were two small girls, 5 years and 3 years, and they had no clue as to what has happened. But I must say, to the credit of my wife, Rakshana, she, during this 20 months of the emergency, she looked after the children. She saw that they went to school, and anyone who tried to create problems for her, she would talk back. She was she was quite a strengthened, quite a fighter type, and she's written a book about it also. which at some time any of you can read. We will find all the interesting things that happened in the emergency. JP sent me a message saying, "You being underground is no meaning. You somehow go to America and campaign there. You know America very well. They know you very well, and tell them all about the facts." So that's how I went to America and created a atmosphere in which Mrs. Gandhi became so angry that she was really after me to see that I came back. She canceled my passport, but the American government, to my credit, said, "No, we don't recognize her cancellation, so you can continue to use your passport for coming in." So I used to go to Canada, England, and come back to America, that sort of thing. And a massive campaign was launched with the help of Swamsevaks who were living abroad, and we created an atmosphere that hurt Mrs. Gandhi very badly. And so over a period, she was under pressure. Why she had postponed the elections? Why she was not holding elections? And finally, she made the fatal error of holding elections. I must give tribute to the people of India. They never showed their opinions. They never opposed Mrs. Gandhi when she was in the heyday of the height of her position. But when the elections were declared, they went and all of them, without taking a penny from anybody or having a penny, they voted, and the whole of North India particularly, Mrs. Gandhi party was completely wiped out, and the Janata Party came to power. So that's how it all began. The question now that which I will pose, and before that, before you can pick up and start giving your opinions and we can have a discussion, is another emergency possible? There can. I don't think the form with which Gandhi brought the emergency is likely to come again, because it's too many systems are there, and it makes it very difficult for a person or a party to manage all of India with strict alternatives to democracy and so on. But we do find that there are elements that are there which we must now awaken ourselves, and that unfortunately is in the BJP today because of Mr. Modi. Mr. Modi has more or less created an atmosphere, not by passing laws or something by which you are deprived of it, but by a kind of fear that has gone in the country across. People are afraid to talk. I have people who tell me, all kinds of things. I said, "Why don't you speak up? Why don't you write a letter to the editor in the newspaper?" They said, No, we can't do that. Immediately, some police will come to our house. Now, that's the kind of situation here. Why today this matter we have taken up is that although there is the old method of emergency is not likely to come, because we have been, after the Janata Party came to power, we amended the constitution, and it becomes now very difficult to do what Mrs. Gandhi was able to do by removing having people in jail without any law there, except that they were on a special law which had been created. So the situation is not like that, but we do find that people are being targeted, people are being denied their due position in society, and there's a lot of feeling that people are afraid. A lot of people now, when they speak to me, they say, "Can we go to some quiet corner? Can we come to your house and sit and speak?" So I have personally seen, because I'm so open and vocal, that people come to me quietly and say, "This is happening. This is happening. This is how the police has come to my house, and they have made some inquiries. We are all scared." There's a pall of fear that is spread in India, and this is something which we have to now start thinking how this can be corrected. And of course, it's not so hard as it was during Mrs. Gandhi's time. It's a much easier thing because there are many organizations which are not supportive of this kind of thing. I'll certainly say, in my own experience, RSS, which played a major role at that time because of Madhurao Mule and Dattoppan Tengri and so many other tall leaders in the RSS. Then the same way today also the RSS is a bulwark, is a force which can prevent Mr. Modi from making this into another emergency. But there are things that are happening which we can't deny. What happened in Gujarat, we know some people lost their lives in this process. So the fear is not obvious, but it's there and it's spread. And I a person like me who's not afraid, who speaks openly, when people come and personally in a whisper tell me the kind of problems that they are having, and this smells of the emergency. So emergency of Mrs. Gandhi may have gone, but we have to make sure that the emergency of Mr. Narendra Modi doesn't flower anymore. And both the RSS and all of us who are in BJP must stand up and see that this kind of attitude must not survive, and we must take very strong positions. So I think one of the reasons why today's program has been set up is to create new aversion that democracy is in trouble, and it's not being wiped out, but it's being subverted, it's being pushed down, so on. So therefore, we must now start having the guts to speak up against it. See that nobody takes any step by which the democratic values start evaporating in our country. So this is the core message that I would say today's atmosphere puts upon us, in particular to make sure that we don't become complacent, and particularly since now we are ruling party, we may feel, oh no, this is not our problem, this is Congress' problem, they deserve it after all what they did in the emergency, etc. No, democracy has got nothing to do with this party or that party. Whoever does it has to be confronted with, and we have to ensure that the system of democracy is not destroyed. So over to you, Jagdish. This is what my suggestion is today.
Thank you, Dr. Swamy, for that insight into the emergency and what happened. In brief, you have mentioned us, you have spoken on various forums. For the benefit of our readers, we will be displaying the book of Dr. Subramaniam, the book on the emergency part written by Dr. Rakshna Swamy, Evolving with Subramaniam Swamy, a roller coaster ride. This is published by her, and it is available on Amazon and other places. Or if you have any queries or want any help on this book, you can always approach Virat Hindustan Sangam, and we will be glad to assist you in getting this very important book. So, Dr. Swamy, today or this week is that is around the 25th is the 50th anniversary, and it's good that you are refreshing our memories because it looks like just the other day. I have one question, very important question, Dr. Swamy. It is the prudent decision of the electorates in 1977 that brought us back our second freedom. The freedom struggle till 1947 could be called the freedom movement. But what happened between 1975 and 77 with the culmination of the Janata Party's victory could be called the second freedom struggle. But my question to you is, Dr. Swamy, it's on the screen for the friends for seeing the book on what happened, which covers some parts of what happened during the emergency. But my question to you, Dr. Swamy, is what if the electorates in 1977 had not defeated Srimati Indira Gandhi and her Congress party? What would have been the fate of India? That is one question, because people who are born after 77, the new generation, do not know that importance of the 1975-77 struggle. So how would you see it if she had not lost the elections?
Well, you see, if she had won the elections on the ground that everything is now nice, and all buses are running on time, and all planes are flying on time, all this junk that was being, is very similar to what Hitler had said. And Hitler implemented the discipline in the society, and the people liked it, and as a consequence, it went to the extreme that ultimately people had to suffer heavily. So in our case, the only mistake that happened, in my opinion, was Mrs. Gandhi declared the elections thinking that she would win the elections. And and the Indian people were so clever that they never let her know that they are going to vote against her. And then it happened. Now today the situation is a little harder for us, because that time we had ballot papers, and ballot papers were counted and so on and so forth. And it was very difficult to fudge the results. Today, these electronic voting machines, which are very efficient, and I am very happy because you don't have to wait 4 days, 5 days for the result. But that same electronic machine can be manipulated very easily by the government, and they can make a victory into defeat and defeat into victory. And that's where the issue will be for us difficult. We have now seen that there is a waning of support for Mr. Modi. In fact, this time we didn't even get majority. We had to take some chota more parties together to get our majority to form a government. So the process started, and but the electronic voting machine can be manipulated without your being able to detect it. So we have to now become more vigilant. I mean, electronic machines are good things because it's so easy, and the results come out quickly, and then the documentation is there. But we have to make sure that the machine is not managed in such a way, machine is not tampered with, where the 10 votes may come in your favor, but the only one will be recorded. That kind of a situation can be created by the electronic voting machine. And of course, there is a question of fear. There are people who are afraid. Mr. Modi has been quite hard on people who are opposed to him. He has ostracized them. I, for example, been a minister twice in my life, and about 6 times I have been a member of parliament. But Mr. Modi has tried very hard to see that I am completely removed from the party, which has not worked, thanks to the fact that there are forces even in the party which have not agreed to go that far. They lump the fact that I have been denied any position or do anything that where I have got capability, like economics or foreign policy. But at the same time, they have people in my party have resisted that I should be pushed out of the party and expelled or something like that. So there are some good points that are there today, but we have to be very, very careful. There is a tendency to be autocratic, and that has to be crushed by one method or the other. Either if he is not, if the powerful people in our party can ensure that he is not again sent to represent India as a prime minister. That would be one way, but that's far away. I think what we need to do now is confront anything that is anti the democratic, and see that it is removed. This is what I would suggest.
Okay, Dr. Swamy, I have other questions, but I'll give my colleagues some more time to ask. We'll come to my questions a little later on, all around the emergency. Professor Arvind Chaturvedi, आपका सवाल आप Dr. Swamy से कर सकते हैं. On the screen is one on the screen is Professor Paul Samuelson article around the emergency that our friend Mr. T.K. Swaminathan has retrieved, and it is available for all intellectuals and viewers to see this article on the emergency.
Yeah, he is the genius of Indian of economics, mathematical economics, and my teacher also. And and I was very, very pleased that he normally would never get into any political issues, but for the first time, he on this issue, he did take a stand, and that helped us all very much abroad. Paul Samuelson. Yeah.
अरविंद चतुर्वेदी, आपका सवाल हिंदी में करिए. बहुत सारे अपने दर्शक हिंदी में सुनना चाहते हैं, और हिंदी हार्टलैंड ने ही हमारे देश को बचाया था 1977 में.
सही बात है.
धन्यवाद. और ये बात डॉक्टर स्वामी लगातार हर राजनीतिक डिबेट में कहते आ रहे हैं कि यदि उत्तर प्रदेश, मध्य प्रदेश, राजस्थान, हरियाणा, हिमाचल और बिहार, अगर जिस प्रकार उन्होंने 1977 में वोट किया, अगर ये राज्य और हिंदी भाषी मतदाता उस तरह से वोट नहीं करते जिस तरह से उन्होंने 77 में किया, और इंदिरा गांधी, संजय गांधी दोनों को हरा दिया, तो देश में तानाशाही स्थापित हो जाती, और इंदिरा गांधी या तानाशाही को हटाने के लिए कोई रास्ता नहीं होता. ये बात सही है. मैं डॉक्टर स्वामी ने पूरा वृत्तांत दिया, और डॉक्टर स्वामी खुद इमरजेंसी के भोगी और नायक रहे हैं. जिस प्रकार उन्होंने संघर्ष किया, जो नेता लोग 25 जून की रात को गिरफ्तार नहीं हो पाए थे, डॉक्टर स्वामी उनमें से एक थे, जॉर्ज फर्नांडिस उसमें से दूसरे थे, नानाजी देशमुख, और जैसे बहुत एक दो लोग गिने गिनाए थे जो लोग सरकार की नजरों में आते हुए भी भूमिगत हो गए और बच गए. और मैं डॉक्टर स्वामी से प्रश्न ये करना चाहूंगा कि ये सब जानते हैं कि 12 जून को जो इलाहाबाद उच्च न्यायालय का निर्णय आया इंदिरा गांधी के खिलाफ, राजनारायण वर्सेस इंदिरा गांधी के इलेक्शन पिटीशन में, और उससे उन्होंने उनको अनसीट कर दिया, 6 साल के लिए अयोग्य घोषित कर दिया चुनाव के लिए, और उसके बाद इमरजेंसी लगी, लोग ये जानते हैं. लेकिन शायद ये कम लोगों को पता होगा कि एक उनके इंदिरा गांधी के वकील थे बीएन खेर. हालांकि वो तैयार नहीं थे जगमोहन लाल के इस फैसले के लिए, लेकिन उन्होंने तुरंत एक अपील दाखिल की कि हम सुप्रीम कोर्ट जाना चाहते हैं इस फैसले के खिलाफ. और सुप्रीम कोर्ट, ये अलग बात है, कुछ लोगों को नहीं पता होगी शायद कि बीएन खेर इंदिरा गांधी के वकील उस केस में थे, और बाद में वो चीफ जस्टिस भी बने. तो ये इसका भी लिंक लोगों को नहीं पता होगा शायद. बट मैं दूसरी बात पे आ रहा हूं कि जब बीएन खेर सुप्रीम कोर्ट गए इस बात को लेके, तो सुप्रीम कोर्ट उस समय समर वेकेशन पे था, और समर वेकेशन में जस्टिस वी कृष्णा अय्यर जज थे जिनके पास ये मामला गया, और जज कृष्णा अय्यर जी ने ये फैसला दिया कि इंदिरा गांधी को तुरंत हटने की जरूरत नहीं है, जब तक इस अपील पर फैसला नहीं हो जाता वो प्रधानमंत्री बनी रह सकती हैं, और सिर्फ लोकसभा के मतदान में हिस्सा नहीं ले सकती. एज ए मेंबर ऑफ पार्लियामेंट। तो ये जो उनको छूट दी गई, तो क्या आपको लगता है कि इमरजेंसी के लिए कहीं ना कहीं हमें जस्टिस वी कृष्णा अय्यर को भी दोषी करार देना चाहिए और दोषी मानना चाहिए? क्योंकि जब जस्टिस जगमोहन लाल सिन्हा का इतना साफ फैसला था अनसीट करने का, तो ये जो छूट दी गई इंदिरा गांधी को सुप्रीम कोर्ट में, डू यू थिंक दिस वाज आल्सो रिस्पॉन्सिबल फॉर गिविंग सम ऑप्शन फॉर इंदिरा गांधी टू रूल द कंट्री?
नहीं, वो तो आपके कहना बिल्कुल सही है, और वास्तव में उस कारण से इंदिरा गांधी रह सकी, यानी यद्यपि वो वोट नहीं डाल सकी, परंतु पार्लियामेंट में रह सकी, प्रधानमंत्री रह सकी। तो ये जो फैसला किया था जस्टिस कृष्णा अय्यर ने, वो वामपंथी थे, और उस वामपंथी सारे इंदिरा गांधी के साथ
बाद में
थे।
उन्होंने राष्ट्रपति पद का चुनाव भी लड़ा।
हाँ, बिल्कुल। और मैं ये कहता हूँ कि वामपंथी इंदिरा गांधी के साथ थे। जब संजय गांधी उभर के आया तो कम्युनिस्टों को उसने अलग कर दी, परंतु वो खुद यानी सख्ती से सबकी मरम्मत करता था। इतने उन्होंने झुग्गी झोंपड़ियों को तोड़ी, इतने वो लोगों के पीछे पड़ जाते थे, और पता नहीं कई लोग मर भी गए थे, और यमुना नदी में उनकी लाश पाया गया था। तो मैं कहता हूं कि कई आयाम है इस इमरजेंसी का, परंतु हमारी जो समय का सीमा है, उस कारण से हमने इन बातों को उठाया नहीं था।
डॉक्टर साहब, एक बात और मैं कहना चाहता हूं कि जिस प्रकार से उन दिनों प्रेस की सेंसरशिप लगाई गई,
हाँ,
इंदिरा गांधी ने जब इमरजेंसी घोषित कर दी 25 जून को, आप लोगों की जो सभा रामलीला मैदान में हुई थी उसके बाद, और सारे विपक्षी नेताओं को उन्होंने गिरफ्तार कर लिया और जेलों में डाल दिया, मीसा में, DIR में, इन कानूनों में। तो जो प्रेस थी उस समय इंदर कुमार गुजराल इंदिरा गांधी के इंफॉर्मेशन और ब्रॉडकास्टिंग मिनिस्टर हुआ करते थे, और जैसा कि सबको पता है, इंदिरा गांधी से अप्रत्यक्ष रूप से संजय गांधी ने सारा जिम्मेदारी ले ली थी। वो एक अनकॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल अथॉरिटी बन गए थे और वही देश को चला रहे थे, वही मंत्रियों को निर्देश देते थे और मंत्री चुपचाप उनके निर्देशों को मानते थे। लेकिन मैं अभी एक पुस्तक पढ़ रहा था कुलदीप नायर का, जो जीवनी लिखी है उन्होंने, वन लाइफ इज नॉट इनफ, और उसमें उन्होंने बताया है कि इंदर कुमार गुजराल ने उनको बताया कि जब संजय गांधी ने उनको प्रेस को सेंसरशिप लगाने के लिए कहा, तो ही रिफ्यूज टू ओबे संजय गांधी, एंड सिंस ही रिफ्यूज टू ओबे संजय गांधी, he was removed from information and broadcasting ministry to planning commission, and immediately Vidyacharan Shukla was appointed as information and broadcasting. तो पूरे देश में जो सेंसरशिप लागू हुई इमरजेंसी के दौरान और जो अत्याचार हुए जिस प्रकार, वो सब विद्याचरण शुक्ला ने किए, और इन पे एक फिल्म भी बनी थी बाद में, उसका नाम था किस्सा कुर्सी का। किस्सा कुर्सी का एक फीचर फिल्म बनाई गई थी विद्याचरण शुक्ला के इमरजेंसी को लेकर, और इंदिरा गांधी की जो अत्याचार थे उनको लेकर। हालांकि वो बाद में फिल्म बहुत ज्यादा हिट नहीं हुई, लेकिन मैं ये भी बताना चाहूंगा हमारे दर्शकों को, जगदीश ने जिक्र किया कि those people who have been born after 97 do not know the emergency thing. People were protesting, but these protests were not reported.
Yeah.
There were only two newspapers, Dainik Jagran and Indian Express, who on 26th of June gave a blank editorial.
Yeah.
दैनिक जागरण के एडिटर नरेंद्र मोहन हुआ करते थे, जो बाद में राज्यसभा के मेंबर नॉमिनेट हुए थे, अब वो नहीं है। तो दैनिक जागरण ने भी पूरा लिखा, पूरा ब्लैंक एडिटोरियल छोड़ा, लिखा नीचे लास्ट में लिखा था कि नया लोकतंत्र चुप रहें। और उसी प्रकार इंडियन एक्सप्रेस में आई थिंक मुलगांवकर वाज द एडिटर ऑफ इंडियन एक्सप्रेस एट दैट टाइम, एंड रामनाथ गोयनका। ना मेरा प्रश्न जो भी आ रहा है वो ये था कि कुलदीप नायर ने अपनी पुस्तक में लिखा है कि जब उन्होंने इंडियन एक्सप्रेस ज्वाइन किया बिफोर इमरजेंसी, रामनाथ गोयनका टोल्ड हिम कि इंदिरा गांधी देश के कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन को अपने हाथ में लेकर इमरजेंसी लागू करने वाली हैं, आप इसके ऊपर एक स्टोरी करिए। दिस वाज मच बिफोर 12 जून। तो कुलदीप नायर डिड नॉट बिलीव, ही सेड नहीं नहीं, ये स्टोरी हम करेंगे तो हमारी लोग हंसी उड़ाएंगे, ऐसा हमारे लोकतंत्र में ऐसा नहीं हो सकता। बट देन ही फाउंड दैट मदरलैंड which was the RSS mouthpiece. RSS mouthpiece after 2 days published the entire story like this. That means some people had inkling of what is going to happen. कुछ लोगों को ये जानकारी थी, कुछ लोगों को ये अंदेशा था, कुछ लोगों को ये पूर्वाभास था कि शायद इंदिरा गांधी ऐसा करेंगी। तो आपको लगता है कि सिर्फ कुछ पत्रकारों तक ये बात सीमित थी, राजनीतिक लोगों में ये बात नहीं हो रही थी?
ये बात तो हो रही थी, और तरह तरह के लोग थे। उदाहरण, पंजाब में सिखों ने एक दिन भी नहीं छोड़ा, उन्होंने सड़क पर आए, उनको पकड़ के जेल में डाला, फिर जेल में जगह नहीं मिला तो फिर उनको 200 किलोमीटर दूर एक ट्रक में डाल के वहां छोड़े, फिर वो पैदल आए, फिर दोबारा आए। तो सिखों ने तो पूरा इमरजेंसी में उन्होंने जो उन्होंने विद्रोह किया, वो तो एक चैप्टर है जिसको कभी हम नहीं भूलना चाहिए। तो परंतु बाकी लोग जो थे उनके लिए प्रॉब्लम ये था कि वो बाहर निकलते तो उसको उनको अंदर के अंदर थे, तो कोई कमा किसी सरकारी काम में काम कर रहे हैं तो उनको निकाल देंगे, या किसी कंपनी में है तो कंपनी को बंद कर देंगे, या इनको निकालने के लिए कहेंगे तो उसको मानना पड़ेगा। तो ये सारी चीजें तो हर जगह में हुई थी कि लोगों को तंग करना और लोगों को दबाना। ये सिर्फ इमरजेंसी लगा दी और आप अखबार में कुछ जो चाहे बोल नहीं सकते, ये पर्याप्त, ये सिर्फ ये नहीं था, तो व्यापक एक हमारी संस्कार को ठेस पहुंचाने की काम हुई थी।
जी सर, मैं और याद दिलाना चाहूंगा कुछ लोगों को कि 50 साल इमरजेंसी के हो रहे हैं। इमरजेंसी इसलिए भी जानी जाती है कि संजय गांधी ने जो 4 सूत्री कार्यक्रम चलाया था और इंदिरा गांधी ने जो 20 सूत्री कार्यक्रम चलाया था, और कम्युनिस्ट पार्टी एक ऐसी पार्टी थी जो आज भले ही विपक्ष में है या भाजपा के विपक्ष में है और कांग्रेस के विपक्ष में भी थी, लेकिन इमरजेंसी का सपोर्ट इन्होंने किया था। क्योंकि जस्टिस कृष्णा अय्यर से जब एक बार सवाल पूछा गया था कि आपने ये फैसला क्यों दिया, तो उन्होंने बताया कि कम्युनिस्ट लीडर S.A. डांगे और जस्टिस P.N. भगवती उस समय सुप्रीम कोर्ट में जज थे, ये दोनों उनके घर गए थे और उनको उन्होंने समझाया था कि आप फैसला लिखने के पहले कुछ अपना आगा पीछा सोच लीजिए, एंड ये सोच के उन्होंने इंदिरा गांधी को समय दिया था। तो कम्युनिस्टों की भूमिका उस समय बड़ी संदिग्ध भूमिका रही थी और उन्होंने इमरजेंसी का सपोर्ट किया था। और 4 सूत्री कार्यक्रम, हमें याद है कि जनसंघ में लोग नारे लगाते थे 77 के इलेक्शन में कि बेटे के 4 और माँ के 20, दोनों मिलकर 420। ये उन दिनों नारा लगता था इंदिरा गांधी के खिलाफ।
20 सूत्री कार्यक्रम और 4
के पहले लोगों के पास टाइम नहीं था। 77 के पहले लोगों को मौका नहीं मिला, और 77 के इलेक्शन में जब जनवरी में घोषित हुआ तो लोगों ने अपनी पूरी भड़ास निकाली। और जैसा कि जगदीश ने पहले जिक्र किया था कि उत्तर प्रदेश, मध्य प्रदेश, राजस्थान, जो हिंदी बेल्ट जिसको काऊ बेल्ट कहते हैं, या जो सबसे ज्यादा पिछड़ा या सबसे ज्यादा कम शिक्षित लोग हैं, they took the initiative to defeat the emergency and dangers on democracy. So that is something very, very important. And I thought before we go into that, आपने सर जिक्र किया इमरजेंसी के बारे में कि आजकल जो हो रहा है, मुझे लगता है कि ANI और दूसरी एजेंसियां जो कर रही हैं, गोदी मीडिया जो चल रहा है, कम से कम मीडिया के मामले में तो इमरजेंसी और आज की तुलना बराबर की जा सकती है। आज का मीडिया और इमरजेंसी का मीडिया बिल्कुल एक जैसा है, दोनों ने साष्टांग दंडवत किया हुआ है सरकार के आगे। बाकी बातें तो लोग देख रहे हैं, कम से कम सेंसरशिप नहीं है, लेकिन उसके बावजूद हालात ज्यादा अच्छे नहीं है।
सही बात है। I think our other participants should also put in a few words. Ramesh.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Swamy. Dr. Swamy, as our topic says, you have lived through this. I was 10 years old. All of the other three of you have lived through this emergency and seen it right in front of a way. For people like me, we don't even realize what it was, right? What emergency was. We were just 10 years old. We just did what our parents said. We didn't, technically in Tamil Nadu, it didn't have any effect because Karnataka didn't pick up the emergency. He was doing on his own, and there was technically zero impact on emergency in Tamil Nadu. It was more pronounced in the north.
In Tamil Nadu and even in Gujarat.
Gujarat,
because there's opposition government. Babu Bhai Patel had become chief minister.
Yeah. So we didn't see that much of an impact. So sadly, a lot of the people in the south don't realize how draconian this was. But Dr. Swamy, coming to today's situation. So as the topic says, let's vow never again. Right? There is a palpable sense in a way that there is a kind of a silent emergency. I think we discussed this before, but there is the basics, Dr. Swamy. What are the signs or what are the pillars of a true democracy? When an emergency happens, when democracy fails. So what are the four pillars? Like we know it's freedom of the press. We know where that is in India. It's completely Godi media. Very few, anybody who wants to oppose them, they are afraid to oppose Modi. They'll just say it in a very nuanced way. They're afraid to, so they don't want to pick up any fight. So in a way, freedom of press has been muddled completely. So there is absolutely no, like what we had in Indian Express of the World, Ramnath Goenka, the way he was, we don't have anybody like that today. Zero. If we cannot even see a single article, and the only article, even if somebody writes, then they are basically said they're communists, they're Soros gang, and completely labeled and completely debunked because they just hate them. So there is a visceral hate for any news that comes out that is anti-Modi. Simple as that. I mean, even this channel, Dr. Swamy, you can see some of the comments that are coming. It's just abuse. They don't have the concept of, okay, let us hear the other side. I don't have to necessarily agree. And as Moraji Desai once said, if two people agree on everything, one of them is redundant. And that first thing is the freedom of press. That's relatively gone. Second, judiciary. See, and being an observer from outside, I don't see much faith in the Indian judiciary so far, Dr. Swamy. Maybe at the Supreme Court level it exists to some extent, but in general, completely gone. I mean, open and shut cases of corruption, open and shut cases of any incompetence, government interference in any form or the other, nothing is happening. So judiciary is completely compromised because what the judge says, oh, if I retire, what will I do? I want the Bangla and Lutians. I want to continue to do something. So he wants to get onto some panel or the other, the environmental panel, this and that. So judiciary is kind of compromised there too. Opposition, I don't have to say anything because we have one Buddhu on one side and others are all a motley crew of misfits. They think they are gelling together, but they are not. So opposition is completely destroyed. Even if the opposition wants to raise a voice, there is CBI raid, there is IB raid, there is this raid and that raid. So they are all afraid that they don't want to do anything. Come to the basic thing, executive. Complete clowns. Basic puppets under Modi and Amit Shah and the PMO. No, can you see one minister that can voice his independent opinion? No. Zilch. All we hear day in and day out, whether it's Monkey Bath or whatever this, it's only about Modi, Modi, Modi. Nobody else has the dare to speak. Maybe Amit Shah speaks once in a while. We can't see, to some exception is probably Nitin Gadkari, but he can only talk about roads and infrastructure. Beyond that, IT cell also jumps on him. So poor Gadkari was a former president of the party, who Modi used to say, has to pay respect, is now flipped. So obviously that is gone. Inter-party democracy is gone. Inside the party, there is no democracy. From 2014, no election. So what are we calling democracy? If all the signs of the democracy has failed, Dr. Swamy, isn't it apparent that there is a silent emergency? And at least what we have learned from what you guys have, what you people have endured is, why are these not signs of some kind of an emergency evolving more?
Yes, if Mr. Modi thinks that he might be removed, he might do that, like Mrs. Gandhi did at that time. So I agree with you. This is a trend that is taking place, and we have to fight it. But I would not say that it's going to be that easy, because all said and done, there are many countervailing forces which were not there in Mrs. Gandhi's time. And therefore, if some of us now start giving a voice, I think they may also get activated. And I'm confident that these extremist attitudes on discipline and so on would disappear.
But even the executive, Dr. Swamy, the bureaucracy, everybody has just broken down and it's just singing only one tune. I mean,
well, see, once you're in a bureaucracy, what can you do? You lose a job, then you have nothing else. So the question really is not to hope that some block will stand up. What we have to do first today is what we have, for example, as a beginning, we must start putting this in the minds of the people that, listen, democracy has started failing in India, and it's time we got up and woke up and did it. And people are acting. After all, BJP didn't get absolute majority this time in the election. They had to take some other parties who have nothing to do with our ideology and put them together to continue having the party having a hold in the central government. So the trend is taking place, but we have to make sure that the voices are raised, and so I'm sure that this program of ours will have an impact on somebody else. Maybe not enough for very feeble, whatever, but there are people who will speak up, and that's how in the emergency also in the beginning hardly anybody spoke, and then slowly people started whispering about it. And when the time came, an opportunity came, everybody came out and they voted Mrs. Gandhi out. I mean, she was defeated along with her son. There is a positive side to many of the things that's happening in India.
So, Dr. Swamy, there is one viewer who asked a question. How did Modi participate in emergency? What was his role?
He had no role whatsoever, because I know it firsthand. First of all, Gujarat, there was nothing for a long time. Only, I think, of the 20 months of emergency, I think Gujarat probably had 4 months only there. I know that because when Gujarat was having an independent government, they were not implementing the emergency, and so those times Nanaji Deshmukh others used to say, now you take some rest and go and live in Gujarat for some time. That time Mr. Modi only was there to receive me at the airport, the railway station, and drop me at a house of one of the then ministers of the Janta Morcha, as it was called, and he had no role to play. And suddenly I find that these film actresses bring out movies to show that he was the principal factor in the emergencies. It actually becomes laughable, much more than condemnable, if you ask me.
And I do remember that when you went to Gujarat, he was the one who kind of received you at the station.
Yeah, he did. He was in the railway station, in Maninagar, which is the one before Ahmedabad, and he picked up my luggage and then drove me to Desai's residence.
Very interesting.
Yeah, Dr. Swamy, I have just some information to share with Arvind Chaturvedi Shed because it is very relevant. The principal counsel who appeared before Justice Krishna Iyer on the 23rd of March on the appeal from the Allahabad High Court to the Supreme Court was Nani Palkiwala.
Yeah.
He may have
not March, June.
23rd June was Nani Palkiwala, and who obtained the stay order from Justice Krishna Iyer. Mr. Khare would be assisting him, but Justice Krishna Iyer.
B.N. Kher.
Yeah, B.N. Kher, but Justice. But the moment the emergency was declared, he returned Indira Gandhi's brief.
Yes.
And not only that, if I recall, there was an attempt made by Indira Gandhi, if I'm not mistaken, whether it was Ajit Nath Ray, to review the Keshavan Bharati's case. A review petition was filed, and Palkiwala argued against the review being allowed. And it was Palkiwala thereafter in the emergency. He opposed the emergency. I very well recall in Mumbai that towards the later end, when the so-called 44 Amendment Bill came about, which ultimately became the 42nd Amendment, Palkiwala and other friends, MC Chagla and others, had meetings opposing the emergency. In a small way, it was allowed. But Palkiwala originally had gone and favored. And as you all know, in the Janta victory of 1977, Palkiwala, instead of a political post, he became our Indian ambassador to the United States of America. Dr. Swamy, my question to you is a quick question. I know we are running out of time, but viewers who are especially born after 77 want you to highlight one specific incident in your life during the emergency which made you quite pleased of what happened. There were various incidents which we all know, and many viewers have heard you on the other shows, but they want to know one specific thing which was a turning point according to you in the emergency underground movement. What will you think that was?
I had 18 cases put on my head, and I was in America campaigning. Then one day I thought I must do something in India, otherwise people think I'm enjoying life in America. So I came secretly to India, and then I went, went to hid after arriving, and then the Parliament opened, and I walked into Parliament, and I was so pleased to see that none of the watch and ward staff raised a voice saying that Swamy has come, police ko bulao. Nothing of the kind. They just smiled, and I went to Parliament and made a short speech and came out. And thereafter, I went to the Delhi railway station. You'll be surprised that some people recognized me there, and they gave me their berth. And I went up to Mathura on that, and then from there I took a train to Bombay. So I found that people by 6 months, 7 months had begun to feel that whatever little we can do, we must do. And that's why when the elections came, I was not at all surprised that people defeated Mrs. Gandhi, her son, by a huge margin, despite all that they tried to do, all the tricks they tried to do. So these are things which I remember as a person, that the Indian people just want some kind of a support that yes, something is happening. And then you find the Indian people stand up and start supporting you in the way they can without putting themselves in difficulty.
Just for the benefit of our viewers, because there is a misconception that Dr. Swamy came to Parliament dressed as a Sikh. That is not. Dr. Swamy came to Parliament dressed as Dr. Subramaniam Swamy in his normal dress, which is a kurta and a dhoti, as then he was wearing. And it was only in the earlier parts of the emergency that Dr. Swamy moved around as a Sardar, where you may have seen some photographs. Perhaps our technical team may display the photograph. But this is a misconception that Parliament, he came dressed as a Sikh, because you could not come to Parliament dressed as a Sikh, because the watch and ward staff either asks for identity card, or if he's a prominent member, they know by the face. So Dr. Swamy came in Parliament as a Dr. Subramaniam Swamy. This is the famous photograph of Dr. Subramaniam Swamy during the emergency when he was hiding in parts of Delhi where he was dressed like a Sardar. Thank you, Dr. Swamy, for that update you gave us. But Dr. Swamy, I want to know, you sent a telegram, if I'm not mistaken, from the Mathura Railway Telegraph Office.
Yes.
To your wife. What did the telegraph say, and what did it mean? Could you tell our viewers what it meant? Because that time there was no hardly any telephone, no WhatsApp, no internet, and all that. So you you wrote a telegram, which earlier telegrams used to be on the railway platforms for long distance trains and all that. Could you tell us what the telegram was and what is the background of this?
So after escaping from Parliament, I went to Delhi railway station, and I managed to get a berth thanks to somebody who didn't recognize me, but felt that I looked like a nice young boy who should be given support. So actually, a policeman went and gave me a berth and said, "Isme jao." And he thought that I had come from abroad or something like that, because I spoke, I didn't speak in Hindi, I spoke in English. So I got off at Mathura, and I went from Delhi by a passenger train and got off at Mathura. In Mathura, I had to tell my wife that I have escaped, because my wife took me up to Parliament. And then I told her that now you go to Birla Mandir, because after I come out, if I successfully come out, I'll drive my car and park it in outside the park which was there in that temple that is there in that place, Birla Mandir it is called. And from there, I took a taxi and went to the railway station. And my wife then came, saw the car, and I told her that I'll put the key under the mat. She picked up the mat and took the key and took the car back home. So the issue that I felt people helped me is, one was that they put me on, a policeman put me on the train and gave me a berth. And then when I got off at Mathura, after sending the telegram, I got the GT, which was going.
Swamy, what were the contents of the telegram? Can you tell us?
The telegram, I said the books have arrived.
Books released. Books released.
Books have released.
That you have escaped? Was it a code word to tell your wife you were escaped?
Before I left, I told my wife that this is what I will say. I will send you a telegram. The books have been received. And then I went to took a train which went up to Nagpur. And in Nagpur, from one platform to another, I was able to go to Bombay. And then after Bombay, the RSS took control of me and put me in safe place till they sent me to Nepal, because the king of Nepal was my student at Harvard. So he sent word that I can't help him in India, but if you bring him to Nepal, I will see that he reaches America. So he gave me a plane and in Nepal, and I went off to America once again.
Dr. Swamy, I'm taking the liberty to ask you a few more questions. Okay. Do you think the movement against the emergency would have been decisive without the RSS participating in a big way.
Absolutely. Nanaji Deshmukh first laid the foundation. Then he got caught. Then Dattaban Tengri also got caught. But Moropan Pingle, there were a number of others. Huh?
Bhaurao
Devras was another. And there was one more who was in fact the organizing person. I forget his name. These people had laid a beautiful network. So I did travel even after going into Parliament and disappearing. And before I went off to America, I went to 3-4 places. And I was received by RSS people. I was put in the house of one of the Swayamsevaks, and then a car was provided for me to drive from Bombay to Lucknow, and Lucknow to Gorakhpur, and then cross the line, get across to Nepal from there. So I don't think that I could have done this without the RSS being fully supportive of what I was doing. I mean, whatever I asked, they provided for, and many of them took personal risks also. That we cannot forget the contribution of RSS in the emergency.
Dr. Swamy, one last question before I
wanted to share, Dr. Swamy, this is something I found from Washington Post archives.
Talk
about your visit to America during emergency.
Yes. Okay.
So it talks about the organization could provide the leadership for an open campaign against the government, which Subramanian Swamy, a member of the upper house of the Indian Parliament, says is planned this summer. So Swamy, a member of the Hindu nationalist Janasangh party, said in a recent interview in Washington that 85% of tightly organized militant youth wing of Janasangh is underground. This is your interview to Washington Post when I think was it Prakash Narayan who sent you to America to campaign for this kind of
thing? He told me you should not be in India. You have so much support, because JP had once come when I was a professor at Harvard, and I took him around and he saw how much support I had there in America. So he told me that no, he sent me a letter through personal method, and he wrote in that you're not fit for India. You go to America and campaign there, and once you campaign there from the Voice of America and CNN and all these, it will spread, and then the BBC will also pick it up, and then that will spread, and then people in India will be able to hear it. People used to hear BBC, Voice of America and all that, and get the real facts, and therefore they also played a role in demolishing Mrs. Gandhi.
My last question, Dr. Swamy. First of all, friends, I must tell you the organization which Dr. Swamy started with the help of the Swayamsevaks in UK and USA was known as Friends of India International, where Dr. Swamy and they set up a network and they campaigned against the emergency in many of these Western countries, and highlighted the democracy being under siege in India. But Dr. Swamy, my last question is, just like the RSS, Swayamsevaks, besides opposing the emergency, were court arresting regularly, and if I recall, 140,000 Swayamsevaks were in jail during the 1975-77 period.
Correct.
Besides the RSS, in one state, there was one organization which continuously did satyagraha. Could you tell us something about this, if you recall, from one state, border state, where they were continuously doing satyagraha against the emergency?
Yeah, I remember this thing, but I don't recall the name just now.
Was it not Akali Dal?
Yes, Akali Dal. I said that in Punjab, they were all the time. Akali Dal was every day, about 250 people would do satyagraha. They will be picked up, and then the jails, there were not enough places in the jail, so they would be taken about 200 kilometers and dropped there, and then they'll walk back, and then again they will do another batch would do it, and then that will go there. In the meantime, this batch would have come back. Or the Sikhs, as far as Punjab was concerned, did a tremendous job.
Okay, Dr. Swamy, Arvind or Ramesh, anything
I would like to add when you say RSS contribution. In fact, Dr. Swamy was a personal witness and he has experience. But we all know we were supporters of Jansangh and RSS used to publish underground material.
Yes.
This material was circulated among the hardcore Jansangh supporters and RSS supporters. My father was a hardcore RSS supporter. He used to get two publications in a month. One was printed in Hindi, 2-pager, back to back, and second was written in Hindi by cyclostyling, written in hand and then cyclostyle. This material used to come religiously every 15 days. So this was not possible but for the RSS network. This huge RSS network prepared. इन RSS के नेटवर्क ने लोगों की मानसिकता को बनाए रखा और जो इमरजेंसी के खिलाफ काम हो रहे थे जनता के खिलाफ उनको इस नेटवर्क के जरिए, इस समाचार पत्र के जरिए, न्यूज़लेटर के जरिए लोगों तक पहुंचाए रखा। और यही कारण था कि 1977 में लोगों ने मतदान किया, क्योंकि अदरवाइज तो प्रेस पूरी सपोर्ट हो चुकी थी, प्रेस में हर चीज सेंसर होती थी और लोगों तक खबर नहीं पहुंच रही थी। प्राइवेट चैनल उन दिनों नहीं होते थे, सिर्फ दूरदर्शन होता था, उसकी पहुंच 5% लोगों तक थी, 95% के पास रेडियो और न्यूज़पेपर, यही दो चीज हुआ करती थी जो पूरी तरह सरकार के कंट्रोल में थी। तो आरएसएस नेटवर्क ने ही लोगों को सूचना प्रसारण का माध्यम बनाया और उसी वजह से ये सब हुआ।
और पूरे देश में हर प्रांत में अलग अलग भाषा में, कन्नड़ में एक काले बोल के, काले मीन टाइम, संस्कृत वर्ड है, ऐसे अंडरग्राउंड लिटरेचर हुआ करते थे। और पूरे देश में, आसाम से लेके पूरे देश में जहां नेटवर्क था तो अंडरग्राउंड न्यूज़पेपर ये चलता था। तो ये बड़ी कंट्रीब्यूशन है। और शायद डॉक्टर स्वामी बार बार कहते हैं जो क्षेत्र में आरएसएस ज्यादा एक्टिव थी नॉर्थ इंडिया में, वहां उसका डायरेक्ट रिजल्ट इलेक्शन पे पड़ा। यानी भले वो 2 साल में कुछ नहीं दिखाई दिया, मगर जो अंडरग्राउंड एक्टिविटी जो फैल गई थी उसके वजह से पूरा फायदा जनता पार्टी को मिला 1977 के जो इलेक्शन हुए उस।
और 77 में जो जनता पार्टी बनी उसमें जनसंघ के जो लोग थे, आउट ऑफ द 540 सीट्स इन पार्लियामेंट, 80 सीट्स वर जनसंघ पीपल। और यही कारण था कि जब बाद में जनता पार्टी का विभाजन हुआ और भारतीय जनता पार्टी बनी 4 साल बाद, तो यही संभव हुआ क्योंकि उनका नेटवर्क मतदान में बदल चुका था और उनके बहुत बड़े संख्या में प्रतिनिधि आ चुके थे। रमेश had mentioned about the Tamil Nadu thing. Let me also just mention it to him that DMK government, though they were opposed to emergency, but they're not willing to take risk of opposing Indira Gandhi openly. So
That's
they
right.
told some press people in Delhi that what they can facilitate is they can print some underground material in Chennai. They can print, but they cannot circulate in Chennai. They can circulate it outside Chennai only.
That's right.
Outside Tamil Nadu only.
And
So
MGR
that was
supported
the
Indira Gandhi. And
Huh?
MGR supported Indira Gandhi.
MGR.
I'm talking about Karunanidhi because
Yeah, no, I
Karunanidhi-
understand. At that time, MGR was opposition. That is why I'm just saying,
Yeah, yeah.
interest
And
in
Gujarat, I've
fund.
already said, Gujarat was Babubhai Patel, who was who formed the government after Jayaprakash Narayan's non-Nirman movement. Chiman Bhai Patel was thrown out. So Babubhai Patel was Janata Party. I mean, in fact, Janata Party was not named at that time. It was a
Janta
Sanyukta
Morcha.
Morcha. Sanyukta
Janta
Morcha.
Morcha, and he was from the Congress O faction.
Correct,
Yeah,
correct. So Babubhai, people who were opposing emergency in entire country, they used to go to Gujarat and settle down there because they were thinking that they will not be arrested there because of Babubhai Patel government.
What about Karnataka and other states? I mean, southern states.
Yes,
There
yes.
were a lot of-
Lawrence
there were a lot of
Fernandez,
excesses.
lot of
Lot of
people.
excesses. And let me
Yes.
also tell you, after the emergency was lifted and Janata Party government came, Shah Commission was to probe into Indira Gandhi and all that. But there was a Human Rights Committee also. I was in Hyderabad those days in 1977 in Administrative Staff College when the committee was formed. Tarkunde, Justice V.M. Tarkunde was the heading that committee, and the members were Arun Shourie was one of the member, Dr. Balwant Reddy, P. Ramamurthy, and Advocate K.G. Kannaviran. And of course, Arun Shourie, everybody is now no more. I had published my first article in a magazine called Dharmayug in 1977 when they brought out emergency issue. I still have preserved that issue even after roughly 47, 48 years.
You wanted to say something?
In Dharmayug was published, and that was interviewing these people who were member of the Human Rights Committee.
No, that was not human rights. It is known as PUCL.
PUCL was the organization. Yeah. Ramamurthy and Kannaviran represented PUCL. Tarkunde was head of the PUCL. The committee was called Manav Dhikar Samiti.
What happened is gradually this PUCL got converted into a leftist Marxist outfit. And I think Dr. Swamy and Arun Shourie and all that, Dr. Swamy is also associated, but all of them gradually then distanced themselves in the later days from the PUCL. If I may recollect,
leftist dominance.
Graduating committee meeting.
Yeah.
Okay, Ramesh, anything? Then we'll go to Arvind for a final comments. Ramesh ji, I think Ramesh's frame is frozen. Arvind, you can do your. We already passed.
I think we have already run into roughly 80 minutes, and for our normal program, it is at least 30% more time. And emergency is like a story. And this, though it's a black chapter in Indian democracy history, but this black chapter is good for VHS and Dr. Swamy to remember these things, because these should be reminded. The new generation should be reminded. नई नस्ल को नहीं पता है कि पुरानी जो 50 साल पहले राजनीति में भारत ने क्या क्या देखा है. लोग सिर्फ इमरजेंसी का नाम जानते हैं, लेकिन इमरजेंसी we could not even discuss in today's program. Even 90 minutes we can't discuss everything. The sterilization campaign, the forceful campaign, the excesses of the emergency, how the students were tortured and all that. But anyway, those are the history. There are many people who have written books. George Fernandez has written his book on Baroda Dynamite case. Lal Kishan Advani has written his jail diary. Shanta Kumar has written his jail diary. There are many other people who suffered. They have already recorded this through literature in English, Hindi, and many other languages. So it is just a reminder to Indian people, democracy has now, courtesy Janata Party cannot be now challenged, and internal emergency can now, it's not easy to declare openly. Ramesh mentioned the tough situation that our Indian people are facing today because of the press freedom. Or we call it Godi media, but it's not open emergency yet, and open emergency. So Dr. Swamy, people like you will long be remembered for your contribution. George Fernandez is no more. He was a great fighter against emergency also. Nanaji Deshmukh is no more. He was the person who inspired many people to fight against this and led the underground movement. Thank you all for saving the next generation and saving the democracy in the country. These kind of programs, Virat Hindustan Sangam brings to you. A large number of people watch our program in many countries because of this only, that we are the correct chronicle of the history, and we record history and we reach to the people with chapters of the history, good or bad, and emergency was a bad chapter. Thank you very much, Dr. Swamy. Jagdish Shetty also was very active those days, though he was young, maybe just about less than 20 years ago. I had just passed out of IIT Kanpur in 1975 and then faced this emergency. So I know firsthand what happened in Kanpur and Uttar Pradesh about the emergency. And people through newspapers and magazines even today, there are some TV programs in private channels which are going to be there in next 3 days because of the 50th anniversary. Thank you, Ramesh. Thanks the technical team, without whose contribution this program is not possible. Just to inform the viewers, this team is led by Ashish Shetty, Swaminathan, Tejas Navalgul, Vishal Mehta, Ishwar Iyer, Ajesh Nair, Gadgi Rakesh, and Gurudas Shetty. The contribution of this team for bringing this program to us is tremendous. We thank them again. Next Sunday, again, we'll be meeting with a new topic and Dr. Subramanian Swamy. Till then, Namaskar, Jai Hind, Jai Bharat,
Jai Shri Ram.
Jai Shri Ram. Jai Shri Ram.